My name is Afro Man Dre. This is my first official reaction video. First one. And right now, my teeth hurt. Fresh from the dentist. Probably like 3 hours before. Either way, since this is my first video, I am a big Halloween person. And I want to watch some scary videos. So let's see what we can find. Something scary. Oh man, I typed in scary stories. Alright. 12. Okay. 12 true horror stories. Okay. Let's go for it. Make sure y'all subscribe. Help your boy out.
This story happened to me a couple years ago. It happened on a Saturday night. I was typing out a school report for my English class and was pretty worn out from the tedious amount of thinking that transpired throughout the paper.
Like everybody
I decided to take a break and procrastinate a little bit. Maybe watch a couple of YouTube videos. I
That's
needed
why
to take
you're
some
messing
stress
up
off my
already.
mind, but didn't really have
don't
anyone to vent or
procrastinate.
talk to. This gave me the idea
Your
to visit a
biggest
chat
enemy.
room called Omegle. For those of you who don't know what Omegle is, it's a chat room where you can literally
know what
video
Omegle
chat with
is.
random strangers online through your computer webcam. Needless to say, Omegle definitely
gonna
helped with my
find too
social
much
skills
black
growing
people
up as
on
a
it,
child, so I was always active on it.
Might be lying.
I remember
might
this
be lying.
one particular night. I was having trouble meeting new people. This left me a little frustrated, to say the least, but that's the kind of thing to expect when you're on these kind of chat sites. That's when I stumbled upon this one guy. He looked to be around the same age group as myself,
This
and
dude
seemed
looked
like
like a
pretty harmless
combination
individual.
of Michael Jackson
I
and the
decided to
Crimson
say
Chain.
hi. He didn't say anything back, he just typed the word hi in the chat box.
Hello.
I found it kind of weird that he would go through the effort of typing out hi as opposed to just saying hi verbally. He then waved at me and began typing something else. He introduced himself in the chat box saying, "My name is Daniel, what's your name?" I verbally said, "My name is James, how are you?" He then stares at the camera and doesn't say a word to me, completely dismissing the fact that I just asked him a question. At this point, I was convinced that this had to be some sort of pre-recorded video and that someone was just trolling me. That's when he began typing in the chat box again, saying, "I'm deaf, please type in the chat box unless you know sign language." I honestly
you feel
felt
bad
stupid
now,
and
huh?
immediately typed, "No worries, my name is James," and gave a quick thumbs up as an act of kind gesture. He immediately typed back saying, "Nice to meet you, James," and gave me a thumbs up as well. He then typed something else that left me dumbfounded. He said, "I will use my whiteboard to chat with you going forward because my hands will be occupied." I was confused by what he meant by that, so I typed, "What do you mean by your hands being occupied?" He
That
then
nigga
starts
was on
writing
some
on a
freaky
whiteboard
deaky
and
shit.
raises it up on the
Hand
screen,
being
which read,
occupied.
"Want to play a game?"
Know what that mean?
I typed, "Sure, what game you want to play?" What he did next is something I will never forget to this day. He held a revolver
Nigga pull
up
out the
with one
heater.
hand and the whiteboard up with the other hand, saying,
No sir.
"Let's play Russian roulette."
No sir.
I was honestly quite creeped out by this guy. and
Creeped
was
out? Click,
contemplating on
nigga.
clicking the stop option to skip this weirdo.
Click.
That's when he wrote another message on the whiteboard saying, "1 of 6. I was confused by what
this dude
1 of
like?
6 meant.
Why are you still
He then
on
took the
there with
revolver,
him?
slipped
Click,
one
boy.
bullet inside the cylinder,
Stop it.
and
Go
began
to the next
spinning it with his
person.
other hand. I now knew what he meant by 1 of 6. It seemed like the guy was about to demonstrate an act of Russian roulette with 1 bullet in the cylinder of 6. He then puts the revolver against his head. I began typing, "What are you doing? Please stop this."
Why
The guy then
are you
smiles disturbingly on the
entertaining this
camera
dude?
and pulls the trigger.
Stop.
Nothing happened. He starts laughing hysterically like a psycho. I was honestly disturbed, but also skeptical that the gun was real, so I typed, "Is that even real?" He then points the revolver at the wall and begins to repeatedly press the trigger until the shot was fired. I was completely
enough for
blown
you?
away by what I was seeing and typed,
Now
"Dude, you
please
could have died."
press stop.
That's when the guy raised the whiteboard to the screen
Take
again,
your ass to sleep.
showing the message, 5 of 6.
Oh, look, his eyes
I
shaking.
frantically started typing, "Don't do it," repeatedly in the chat box, desperately trying to get his attention. He then began loading the revolver with 5 bullets while I gestured no by waving my hands back and forth like a lunatic. I knew the odds of him surviving this time were slim to none. He then raises the revolver against his head once again and begins to disturbingly smile, with tears running down his face. He began mumbling the words, "It was nice meeting you, James." I immediately slammed my laptop shut as I hear a gunshot a split second before the laptop was fully closed. I was left baffled on my computer desk.
He
I had no
dead,
clue what to do. I stupidly opened my laptop up with my eyes
Look at
closed.
his face.
I pressed my hand against the screen where the video chat was located. I opened my eyes, and through the cracks of my fingers, I can see blood displayed everywhere on his screen. I immediately clicked the exit button on the
You
Google
should have
Chrome
been did
tab
that. I
and
don't
called
know
it a
why
night.
you chose to stay
this
on
day,
there.
I'm still skeptical about what I saw that night. I
Skeptical.
haven't reported anything to the police, nor have
This
I
nigga
reported
said he's
anything to a
still
mentor.
skeptical.
I'm not sure if that was the wisest decision, but
Why did I mess up
I
that
hope
word?
I never encounter
He's
anyone
still
like that again.
skeptical of what he saw. This nigga literally just blew his fucking face in front of you, and you are skeptical? Next story, please. Oh, look at his face. No ads. No ads. No, sir.
In order to have clear, healthy skin, it is so important to keep your skin's microbiome in check. And
It was New Year's Day in 1995. I was in the middle of my junior year at my college, and a bunch of my friends had come down to visit me and my roommate for the festivities. We were all pretty hungover from drinking the night before, and we went out for the usual post-greasy
Whoever
breakfast
does this
hangover stroll around the
animation
neighborhood.
is like,
Two of these friends were twin brothers. One of them we hung out with all the time. The other we just met for the first time. It was pretty normal the night before, joining in on the fun, but on this day, we were all hanging out around the local basketball court, shooting hoops with an old basketball we found in the grass. And this twin brother kept following me around all over the place with the creepiest grin I've ever seen in my life.
back your ass
Staring
up,
right
sir.
into the nether regions of my soul the whole time. So I'd back away and then I'd join the group again. And he kept following me around. When we were walking back to the apartment, it was
Why
just
this
me and
nigga
him
still
walking down
smiling
the
at him?
sidewalk behind the group. And he moved in front
Look
of me.
at him.
He stared at me with that creepy
Hey.
look again and fell down to his knees as if he was to worship me or something.
No,
I didn't know what to do or
he
say,
ain't trying
so
to
I
worship
said, "Hey,
you.
buddy,
His mouth
you
kind of
all right?
open.
We're heading back now, right?" And so on. He wouldn't say anything.
Ugh.
He'd just be there on his knees, looking up at me with this clenched face and squinted eyes as if we were looking directly into the sun or something. Later that day, my roommate said he was tripping, so I thought nothing of it and moved on with my life. A few weeks later, we got a phone call from the twin brother that we usually hung out with. And it turned out that his other twin brother went over to his aunt's house with a knife and stabbed her 14 times.
Damn!
She didn't die, but, still pretty bad.
It's not funny.
He had
It's not
even
funny.
called the police before going because he knew he was going
This
to do it, but
dude
he couldn't stop himself from
shanked
doing
this
it
mom.
because,
Auntie,
the voices and
shanked
so
his
forth.
auntie.
The court case was covered in the media as this was
Nigga
a
still
small
smiling.
community where this sort of thing doesn't happen every day.
Look at him.
I was reading one of the articles, and one of the testimonies was that this twin brother was severely schizophrenic and was hearing voices in his head. He believed to his very bones that his aunt was the devil, and that he had been commanded by God to go
No,
kill
sir.
her. So who was this God that told him to go kill her? Well, as the newspaper article described, it was this guy in a group he hung out with on New Year's Day. It didn't take me long to realize that he was talking about me. This was over 20 years ago. I know for a fact that it was a mental illness, but just knowing that I somehow commanded him
I
to
can't
go kill
take
his
this
aunt
seriously,
just stays
man.
with me to this day.
Look at his face.
This happened to me about a year ago. I used to be a janitor for a cleaning agency, I would basically take contract jobs to clean in various locations. One day, my cleaning agency gave me a cleaning contract at a psychiatric ward,
2
also
p.m.
known
to
as
10
an
p.m.
asylum.
$20 an hour?
To be honest, I was a bit hesitant to take the job, just because of the superstition of asylums being haunted, but I took it anyway because the pay was decent.
Get your
Later
money.
that day, I arrived there. I see a huge old-looking building. To be honest, I was quite creeped out since the asylum was secluded in the middle of nowhere.
Your first sign.
When I arrive inside, I notice people giving me an uninviting stare.
Second
I'm not just
sign.
talking about the patients, I'm also talking about the employees as well. To be honest, I kept it professional and
That's
began to do my
2
job.
signs already, sir.
I remember mopping the hallway and seeing some really bizarre things. I saw some creepy looking patients that had a disturbing look to them. I don't know. They just looked like
do
the
I
kind
even
of
have to
people
say that's
you
the
would
third
see
sign?
in one of those Exorcist movies.
After this,
I remember seeing this one guy that really gave me the chills. It was a man who looked to be about 7 feet tall. He gave me this really disturbing smile.
bet his
like he
nickname is
wanted to
Tiny.
kill me. I can see a nurse instructing him to lay on his bed. He didn't look too happy after that. I also remember seeing a swimming class taking place. Well, not exactly a swimming class, just a bunch of patients in a swimming pool. They were all holding an exercise ball and mimicking the actions of the instructor. I personally found it unsettling, to say the least.
too many
When it was around
signs.
the end of my shift, I was getting ready to head home. I noticed all the patients' doors were closed, except for one room. I could see someone laying on the floor with their legs halfway across the door. It was a bit alarming
There
for
you
one
go.
to be laying on the floor
Run.
like that.
Other
I
direction.
then saw the person getting yanked into the room.
Run.
That honestly startled
Run.
the crap out of me. I then noticed a puddle of blood spilling out from the room and onto the hallway. I decided to approach the room and see what the hell was going on. As I peeked inside the room, I saw one of the most disturbing things ever. It was the tall man I saw earlier. He was biting the hell out of one of the nurse's neck. You could see the nurse's eyes gouged out with blood pouring everywhere. I carefully made sure to not scream or make a sound. I got the hell out of there and immediately started driving off. I even called the cops while driving.
Sir!
To this day,
Thank
I'm still
you!
traumatized by what I saw that night. I'm not sure exactly what happened to the tall man, but he still gives me the chills just
Coming at
thinking
that
about it.
ass.
With Facebook shops, connecting people with your business just got easier.
I want it.
Get with the ads. I'm not for advertisement. I'm not here for sale. Ads.
This is a story about a girl in my high school. I go to high school just like any normal person would, but I was having a little trouble with my grades. So I started staying after school to do a little extra work to bring my grades up. But I've noticed in school that there has been this quiet girl that attended tutoring along with 8
Is
other
you
people.
a girl or a guy? Because your
The thing is,
voice kind of deep.
I would always see her staring at me, never taking her eyes off of me. I really didn't mind
Well,
it, but
boo, bitch.
it felt really creepy. This kept going on for about 2 weeks. At this point, I was feeling very uncomfortable. One day when school ended and tutoring started, I sit as far away as possible from her. We go home at around 6 p.m. And this day I got on the bus like usual.
Horror short party
There's
mark.
only one bus because there aren't so many people. And as usual, I would sit as far away as possible from her. But that day, when I got off my bus stop, she got off too. This was weird as she always got off at a different bus stop. But I really didn't pay any attention to it.
Your
I thought
malfunction
maybe
is. What's
she
your
changed her
problem?
bus stop
What's
or
your
something,
frustration?
I don't know. I really didn't think about it. It was getting dark, and it was about a 1-mile walk from my bus stop to my home. But I noticed that the girl has been following me for about 2 minutes, and I
Hi,
didn't know
how
why.
you doing?
This, of course,
Need
bothered me,
something?
but there wasn't really much I could do. I just ignored her, minding my own business, and I kept walking. 2 minutes later, I noticed that she kept following me. I started to get the feeling that maybe she was lost or something.
Better jet.
It was dark.
Better
And
jet.
she started talking to herself. She was acting really weird, and I just wanted to ignore it, but she kept
Better
whispering to herself.
jet.
I could hear mumbling. The sound was getting closer and closer, so I picked up the pace. When I picked up the pace, she also did too. She then let out a scream that was so damn loud that it almost made me pee my pants. I started sprinting. She went chasing me. I was getting scared, so I ran around the neighborhood. I didn't want her to go to my house because she would know where I live. Around the corner, I saw a bush large enough for me to hide in. Then she stopped as she thought that she lost me. When she stopped, she took a deep breath and she ran away. I stayed there for about 5 more minutes just to make sure. I was thinking to myself that this girl was insane and had some mental problems. After this
You
horrifying
have to ram my
experience,
fade right quick. You
I
should
didn't go to after
have
school
ran
tutoring
fades.
again.
That's enough. That's enough. I'm only gonna do 4 because honestly, they're kind of not scary to me. They're not really hitting like they're supposed to hit.